Welcome to Physics for Good. I'm Allison Bowley, and today I want to talk about interference. And just like people, when waves meet, they can interact in a way that will amplify them or will cancel each other out. Anytime two waves meet up at the same time and place, they interact, and that interaction is called interference. So anytime two waves meet, their amplitudes add. So that's why we've got these little addition signs here. So let's take the simplest case, where we have two waves that are identical, or at least as identical as I could draw them. And so you can see their crests line up, their troughs line up, and so on and so forth. And let's just take this one and let's pretend that they're in exactly the same place at exactly the same time. So we just sort of superimpose this one on this one. And so their amplitudes add, and so what we get is basically a larger wave. And we call that constructive interference. Now, let's look at a similar situation where we have the same wave initially, and now they're identical waves, but this one is sort of moved, so that now its trough lines up with the crest, and its crest lines up with the trough, and so on and so forth. And so now their amplitudes are still going to add, but what happens is they actually cancel each other out. And that is called destructive interference. Now, those are the two extreme forms of interaction. In many real-life waves, like two ripples in water, some points where they interact are going to be those two extremes, but many more points are going to be somewhere on the continuum between them. However, noise-canceling headphones uses destructive interference. The headphones analyze the incoming sound and then produce a sound wave that will cancel that original incoming sound. The result is the sweet sound of silence. And I think there's a metaphor to be made here, because we, as people with all kinds of differences, are going to interact just like waves. But unlike waves, we get to choose to interact in a way that we can add together to produce something greater, just like constructive interference. Which brings me to AYA and its executive director, Rebecca Tobin.
We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and our mission is to provide free in-home English education to immigrant and refugee women.
Awesome.
The reason why we teach them in their home is because they're unable to access the existing classes for them, the existing English classes for them that, for example, are at refugee centers.
Oh, right.
And a lot of times these women are stuck at home. A lot of times they're raising little kids.
Oh, sure.
And so they don't have childcare, and a lot of times they don't have the transportation to get there.
Okay.
And so that's why we are providing this in-home service,
Right.
which is a unique service that we're providing.
For sure. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we want to get the women out of their home too, expose them to the culture here and immerse them. But we come to them just to take that obstacle out of their way.
Sure. So do you do like tests, or do you like for assessments, or do you have like conversations?
So that's a very good question, because I'm not traditionally in a classroom.
Right.
And what I'm trying to teach is conversational English. While
Yes.
I do want them to be fluent in reading, writing, speaking, listening.
Oh, yeah.
So a test would be part of it. It would be like a writing
Okay.
assessment.
Okay.
But really, yes, we have conversations, and I'm able to checklist, okay, yes, she got that, she did not get that,
Oh,
I need to practice that.
And what have you learned from them?
Besides just learning the language, I've learned that it takes a lot of courage to leave your hometown and everything that you're familiar with, and go and start over in a new place. And I feel like I'm constantly being taught that from seeing the work that she's done, seeing how far that she's come, seeing how much she has had to be forced to step outside of her comfort zone,
Right.
just for her family's safety. So we speak English. English is all around us.
Right.
Anytime we have to go anywhere, to the doctor's office or to the bank or the grocery store, everything is conducted in our English.
Right.
So what you can do is you could go to the grocery store, and if you're in the self-checkout lane, there's a choice for English or Spanish. Try touching it in Spanish, and just to give yourself a little bit of an experience of what it would be like to try to do that little transaction.
Right. So besides just watching this video, how else can viewers support you?
Viewers can support us by donating. You can visit our website at ellarizona.org. We need the funds to pay for our programs, to pay for our teachers. And we also do need volunteers. We need volunteers that are willing to practice conversational English with our students. That's huge. It can either be in person or it can be through FaceTime, Skype,
nice.
WhatsApp, any video sort of conferencing format.
Awesome.
We also need volunteer translators as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you just saw, please consider subscribing right here and sharing the video with a friend. Also, check out the video description where you'll find a link to the charity you just saw, as well as some affiliate links.